More thunderstorms are expected later today, potentially across already hit areas of Southern California. Crews were there working to clear the damage left by a fast-moving mudslide. Cars and roads were left buried in inches of thick mud late Thursday.
Hillsides, hardened by years of drought, simply could not take the deluge of water that rushed through. There were a number of rescues and hundreds of drivers were stranded.
The hardest hit area is a heavily traveled stretch of Interstate 5, about 75 miles north of Los Angeles. It is shut down in both directions. Crews have been working around the clock to try and clear the mudslides so they can reopen that road.
Chris Martinez is in Mojave, California. Chris, thanks for joining us. There's more bad weather expected to hit the area. How are officials preparing for that, and could it trigger more mudslides?
And that really is the big concern, because if you take a look at where we are right now, which is Highway 58, this is still just covered in very thick, deep mud. And the cleanup here, this is going to take some time. So the concern is if we do, in fact, get more rain this afternoon, which is in the forecast, it's just going to make this an even bigger mess. A little breaking news for you, though, from out here right now. We've just been told that northbound lanes of I-5, they have reopened, most of them.
Okay.
But they still haven't gotten the southbound I-5 open just yet because there's still quite a bit of mud and debris there. But the same story applies there. If it rains in that area this afternoon, we could see that shut down again if we see any more of these mudslides.
Chris, how normal is it for a mudslide to move this quickly or cause this type of damage? I mean, to see those large vehicles and cars turned over, literally stuck in that mud.
And mud up to the roof.
I mean, we would never really see that here in New York City, obviously, but how normal is that?
Right, and in fact, that's one of the things that we're hearing from a lot of the motorists who were out here when this happened. A lot of them are saying they have just never seen it this much, this fast. We've talked to folks who were in cars, guys who were driving semi-trucks, who said that it happened in such an instant that these people didn't even have time to think about where to go or get out of their car. A lot of these people were stuck in their cars.
Yeah.
You've seen a lot of iPhone video coming out and home video of cars floating by. It's amazing when you see the video, and it's amazing when you're out here and you see mud, when in fact we saw just up here about 20 feet high, up to the driver's side door of a semi-truck.
We're looking at
there were no
image.
Injuries here.
We're looking at an image right now as you were talking of that exact thing you were talking about regarding someone in their car, and you just see the sand all the way up to the door. It's amazing that no one has been injured, or we haven't heard of any reported fatalities in this. I mean, this is clearly a mess. You just hope that, you know, these insurance companies will obviously cover the damage, because it's so rare. It's like, who gets to cover for a mudslide?
For sure. And Chris, you were saying that the drivers that you've spoken to, some of the motorists there, they say that this happened very quickly, right? In other words, a lot of times people will look, especially those of us in the Northeast, will think, well, how'd you get caught out there in the mud? Didn't you know not to go down this road? But this happened all of a sudden.
That's right, and part of the issue here yesterday was the amount of rain they got in such a short amount of time. It came down very fast, a lot of rain. These mudslides were triggered very quickly, and you didn't have time to react. And that's what you see when you come out here, especially on 58. The number of vehicles down this way, when we drove in, we were counting them, and then at one point we just stopped because there were so many. The best we could do was say dozens. You get a sense of how fast it was sheerly by the number of cars that were basically left there, abandoned by drivers who didn't know what to do other than try to get themselves out and try to get themselves to safety.
All right, Chris Martinez, thank you so much for your coverage out there.